Hello. Uh, I made a video on my old YouTube channel called Gravetian, right? Where I made many predictions as to what the where the earliest sample for haplogroup I-1 would be found, at least pertaining to when it arrived in the in it when it arrived in the Indo-European related sphere of like stuff, right? So there were there were at least three. No, sorry. I made some predictions, and it was that Upper Group I-1 was from the Baltics, and what else? And that it would be found in Central Europe due in the Corridor expansion, right? And it turns out that was half correct. It's not from the Baltics. Well, I wouldn't say it's not. There are samples from the Baltics confirmed. One from Gotland, off the coast of Sweden, and there 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 are new samples found in three new samples found in Central Europe, the Wartburg culture, right? Yeah. So I guess I am correct in some form. Um, I don't really want to talk about that necessarily. I wanted to talk about, life, like I did in my first video on this channel. Well, not my first video, my first video talking on camera, right? Um, yeah, I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to figure out that I'm not white, right? And I'm not from America or Europe or anything like that. I'm some guy from some country in the middle of nowhere, basically. Nobody really cares that much about my country outside of like athletics or music, right? Because that's what black people, for the most part, in the world, outside of America, well, in America as well, are valued for. Their tenacity in entertainment, right? Not so much their academic achievements or skills. Not that there aren't any black people like that, but that's what the world views black people as, right? Just entertainment pieces for the most part, because that's what is. The truth is that's what is. That's what seems to be presenting itself as the common, as the common, as the common stay, as the common ground for what black success looks like and what black success looks like for most of the world, right? But yeah, kind of sucks because you want to be a I guess like a businessman, but you're born in from a poor black family, or you want to have a wife early, you want to have a girlfriend without having to sneak around and have sex with her in your parents' bathroom or whatever. But anyways, that's that's a part. That's out of the question. I'm not really talking about that right now. Sorry to get too personal, but it does kind of like fit in towards where I'm going right now, right? Because isn't this a black issue, right? Because I think people like to focus on the black part of this whole thing. Because yeah, there's this like weird tension, social tension in America between black folks, the African American folks, and the white folks, where it seems as if that the two groups cannot, for the life of them, come to some form of like agreement on how to live. Many white supremacists would uh, claim that claim that it's because of their IQ, right? But a lot of the white supremacists are also very low IQ, I suppose. But there is some truth to the fact that a lot of the criminal offenders in America, and the ones that commit criminal offenses for the most, let's say, low down dirty reasons, are yeah, are well yeah, of the melanin complexion. So there is a simple bias there, and you can't even blame anybody. But a lot of these people who are so reactionary about the whole issue are very much the same, I should say. Very degenerate people in general. All right. Yeah, but um, yeah. Back to what I was saying. It's not only just about white people, particularly, because like if you go to like somewhere in the Middle East, right? Like somewhere like say Turkmenistan or like fucking Turkey or like Istanbul or Zagros Mountains or whatever. A friend from Zagros Mountains, he was on Discord, right? The people are generally loud, obnoxious, very, very poor taste, and like I've never been there, but I've talked to people from there. Very poor taste and like humor, very, very, very very difficult behavioral patterns. To like learning shit, right? They don't want to learn anything. They're very stubborn, and they get very heated very easily when it comes down to learning. By the way, so it's like you can't even like have like a discussion about it turning into like some physical altercation or some form of discussion where it might come off as offensive to that person, leading without it leading into like some form of like fuck you bloody motherfucker, fuck you bloody hell type discussion, right? And that's what living with people in the third world is like in general. Right? You can't reason, can't work, can't do almost anything about it being like about some guy threatening to fucking throw an iron rod in your face, and you gotta like be prepared for that being like something that could happen, for simply just like putting a bucket in a wrong spot, or what he thinks it to be a wrong spot, or what dealing with people who think it's a wrong spot and think you can't make any decisions towards actually doing something that even like a 10-year-old could do, right? On his own, right? Washing a car is an achievement that requires years of skill and labor and like trial and error for some of these people. Well, that's a skill, and for the most part, if they see you can attempt to do this without attempt to do this, you probably get scammed by that same person. I'm not saying it's the same for everybody, or the same everywhere. I'm just pointing out the realistic facts here. Is that for at least a millennia, more than a millennia, I should say. Sorry, I'm being a bit too fucked up on the time frame. You Asian, let's see. Actually, I don't like to use the the Chinaman or the Asian man or the Japanese man, the Oriental man, to make my points about the world like clear, because like I think that's the easiest and most like low brow way of like speaking about race and IQ and like these issues without it coming off as like being not so racist, because everyone likes to points to Asians as being the smartest people on the planet, because nobody wants to ever admit that they're white people who are clearly like just smarter than a black guy, because that would reinforce the notion that there is no such thing there is such a thing as a difference between races and between black people and white people in terms of IQ. That would literally do worse for people, because that's the thing that people want to completely destroy as a whole. And if you talk about any of this stuff in the new world or anywhere anywhere where black people are predominant with white people, it becomes immediately an issue. And that's why I believe that I don't want to use the Asian guy because I want to be upfront and be completely honest with you. Yeah, there is a difference. You can use me. I have like some European admixture from like at least I'd say 200 years ago. 200 years ago, I my name is Sterling. Rightful last name is Sterling with E. But if I go further back enough in my family records, which I learned from my DNA test, it's a Sterling with an I. Yeah, I don't know any of these people because, or do I have any connections to anybody with wealth because apparently most of my most of my relation to these people was from out of like wedlock, right? So I have no connections to any of these people, right? As far as I can go back, but still working as a poor man, you know, no father really. I wasn't really raised with a father. Um, I've quickly learned that like working my way out of a spot is like one of the hardest things to do in the spot where I'm born because the people don't really value like ethics or logic or understanding to any extent. Especially if you come off as a guy that's trying to like prioritize certain things like your own health. What I mean by my own health, sorry, what I mean by my own health, I mean like just taking care of myself physically, getting a warm meal in, and sometimes my money can't really stretch towards like buying the latest gadget while leaving myself fucking hungry. Get with gastroenteritis, which is what a lot of poor people kind of do in the third world. Yeah, they'd rather like spend their money on fast food, like shitty fast food they buy on the street corners. Yeah, it's like man, not saying you can't do that to survive at least once or twice, but I would like to eat something that's stable, right? I don't want to fucking like be hungry all the time. Yeah, but I'm good. I'm good. Life is in my body. But yeah, some French kid got stomped out by a group of like immigrants, right? That's like, yeah, fuck. It's fucked up, right? Imagine living in your own country, right? You're just little Timmy, little Duguayne, whatever the fuck your name. I don't know any French names. You're just there chilling the fuck out. You probably you're a porn addict, but you kind of want to like work out, become somebody, get a girlfriend, live the life of an ordinary person in the first world, right? You don't live in the Bronze Age or the fucking Neolithic anymore or the Mesolithic. You just want to go to school, go home, jerk off. I'm kind of fat now. Nah, kind of like I want to know how to get girls. I want to like bang, right? And you want to get laid. Your first friend group is a bunch of like guys from Pakistan or something that can barely even read, right? And they have machetes in their bags, and you talk to them, you give them your stuff. You even try to like play a part in their gang shit, right? Being a retard, of course, because you don't really know what they're really like, and they gang up on you and stab you to death because you said something too offensive to one of your new friends from across the border, right? And sadly enough, you didn't know how to like just leave them alone the moment they even make a threat towards you, right? Because sometimes it happens to the best of us. By the way, I'm a friendly guy. I was raised inside most of the time, but I understand what people are like where I'm from. Sometimes you forget because you want to be like a open and carefree guy, and I got my fucking ears split open, right? I still have my ear on, but I got hit by a girl. I got hit on the ear, and I'm fucked up a little bit, but I'm okay. All right. But what I'm really like getting at right now, man, is that like, dude, the world is fucked. The world is fucked. Most of your ancestors grew up around a lake, of like, let's say 100 people in a small forest in Western Europe, fishing on a fucking lake, man. And before that, they were in like, they were on like some grassland where they just herded cows for like at least 200 years. And before, and no, I shouldn't say before that. Around some same time, some of your ancestors were doing that, and before that, they were just hunting fucking woolly mammoths on the steppes. Yeah, like some little inchuk unchuk unchuk, little Indians, right? Hunting mammoths, woolly mammoths on the steppes, hunting seals, whatever. And you have to have a high trust personality. You have to have a brain around logic, really. You have to have, or you have to have a brain around crop seasoning to even like, because I should say the farmer. I forgot to mention the farmers. Yeah, the farmers just set out their houses watching crops grow, and they had to know the exact timing of when to even harvest their crops. By the way, and when it would grow. So it takes a lot. It takes a lot of thinking, a lot of like, a lot of like, a lot of like ingenuity to be what you are today. Mr. European man. Same for the Asian man, I'd say. It takes a lot of ingenuity and like somewhat struggling to be who you are today. Your ancestors survived very much harsh times, and they are who they are because of what they did. And sometimes you gotta forget. You gotta drop the whole like social lens bullcrap and remember that at the end of the day, man, I'm white. I'm mixed race. I have a brain. I'm Chinese. Yeah, I'm Chinese, and I can like get a job and live decently comfortable without getting into some disparate with a guy over like a fucking piece of like over over Nikes, or I don't have to worry about digging a hole in Africa to get like gold, and my fucking boss doesn't want to pay me my exact salary. I have to kill him. I have to attempt to kill him, and I get chopped up to bitch by his gang, right? This, or I have to run and get little or less for what I did, right? I'm just saying, man. Just saying, live your life, be comfortable. All I would really want from you guys right now is probably a little bit of like pay for my lip service, because that's what I'm really doing here. You know, I'm gonna link my PayPal. Give me a little money, please. Because people have me as a scammer, but I want some money still because sometimes I'm fucking hungry. I don't want to like still want to have a girlfriend here. So like, please give me a little money, please, 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 please. Fuck.